Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Thank you. Before we do public comment, I'm going to remind everybody to shut their cell phones off. Go ahead, Mandy, public comment.
Public comment is the opportunity for members of the public to address the Board of Directors on any subject matter that is not on the meeting agenda and is within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Public comment periods are limited to 3 minutes per person, and the total amount of time for public comment is 15 minutes. Persons participating by way of video conference or teleconference will ensure their audio is muted at all times except when the board chair announces public comment periods. At those designated times, members of the public wishing to speak shall enable their audio and state their name for the record. When multiple members of the public wish to speak, the clerk will determine the order of speakers and announce their names accordingly. To ensure proper conduct, the board reserves the right to mute the audio and video of any member of the public violating generally accepted principles and decorum of official public meetings. Do we have any in-person public comment? No. Yeah, let me check. No virtual.
All right. I'll move on to consent items 1 through 6. Are there any public comment on consent items? Any director's comments?
Move to approve.
A motion is there?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, great. Discussion items. Item 7. Before we start this discussion, item 7, I think Director Bishop, you're going to recuse yourself.
Yeah, I need to recuse myself because this is an event that takes place at my business, even though it's not run by my business. We are also a sponsor of it, but I need to recuse myself. There could be some indirect benefit.
All right, great. So we're going to let Director Bishop leave the room, and I will read this. Item 7, consider approval of a sponsorship in the amount of $10,000 in support of the National Pumpkin Way-Off. Before we begin, I already did that. Director Bishop wishes to recuse himself from participating in this item. And so I'm going to move on to what's that? Okay, Willie's going to present on this item. So we're done with all that part. So Willie, go ahead and present.
Yeah, no problem. This is a sponsorship of the Pumpkin Way-Off that does take place at Bishop's Pumpkin Farm. It's organized by the Yuba-Sutter Economic Development Corporation. We're proposing a $10,000 sponsorship of the event, the same as last year. Other sponsors are the City of Wheatland, Yuba County, the Yuba River Endowment, and as Director Bishop said, Bishop's Pumpkin Farm themselves sponsor the event. It's a pumpkin way-off where it's a competition for growing large pumpkins, pretty popular in ag communities. And from what I understand, last year we had a few local youth grow pumpkins, and that participation is increasing. And I think it's a great way to demonstrate, one, our partners with other local government entities and other agricultural partners in the region, and also promotes youth agriculture and education and by growing pumpkins in the region. So that's the summary of the sponsorship.
What day is the Pumpkin Way-Off?
I don't have that on the top of my head.
Mike, do you know? Mike Fleece? All right. Okay. Is there anyone from the public that wish to speak on this item?
Move to approve.
The motion.
Second.
Before we take a vote, I'd just like to comment that I didn't make it last year because I think there were a lot of events in my district. But what I read about it, there was people from all over the United States at this event. So it's just a huge draw to Yuba County. It's a great way to promote Yuba County and agriculture and, and bring commerce into the county. So with that.
Chairman, real quick, it is on September 27th.
September 27th, okay.
Other comments?
Yeah, go ahead. You have a comment, Jonathan?
I'd just like to say that the Bishop Pumpkin Farm event is something that Yuba County has been put on the map for, because people from the Bay Area and even the Los Angeles area bring their families, and I've heard about it for the last 20 years. It's just an amazing event that was started by the Bishop family, and they've done a tremendous job for the county with it. Thank you.
Great. And it is the same time as every other event I just looked. All right. Any other comments? So the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Opposed? Okay, great. Before we move on, I'm going to grab Wayne and. Sorry. What's that?
Do you know the code?
Oh, I have my card.
Here.
My card open.
Oh, okay.
Right. And item 8. Consider adopting resolution 2025-19, approving flood risk reduction grant in the amount of $650,000 for the city of Wheatland Stormwater Master Plan. This was recommended by the pod, and Sammy Knoll's going to present.
Good morning, Chairman Messick. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, Chairman Messick, members of the board. My name is Sammy Knoll, and I am the flood risk manager for Yuba Water Agency. I apologize I can't be there in person, but I wanted to present on a few of these items. So this first one is for the city of Wheatland for their stormwater management or master plan. And so this project will study the regional hydrology, the urban runoff, and the existing infrastructure for conveying stormwater floods throughout the whole city. And the project will be the basis for developing a capital improvement program for potential future short-term and long-term capital improvement projects. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions from the directors?
I just have a comment. I think this study is probably 3 decades or so overdue. And so it's great. It's great to see it happening and see a plan get formed to solve some of the existing problems that we have there. Wheatland sits in a bowl. And so the stormwater now runs down through the farmland to the west of Wheatland and ends up in a spot where it can't drain until water levels drop in Dry Creek in the Bear River. So there's problems that have existed for decades, and it's great to see a plan for solving it.
Great. Any public comment on this item? Yep, come on up. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm having allergies. My name's Katie Burdick, and I just wanted to let you know 2 things. One, we've already started working the City of Wheatland stormwater into the capital improvement plan. We're preparing for them, so these things will overlap perfectly in terms of timing. And secondly, Bill Zanoni had a last-minute thing, so I wanted to express his appreciation and thanks for the support from the agency. So, be in the SIP as the SIP finishes up.
Thank you, Katie. All right, anyone else wish to speak? Would anybody like to make a motion?
To approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item 9. Consider adopting resolution 2025-20, approving flood risk reduction grant in the amount of $400,000 Reclamation District 817 Bear River Setback Levy Project. This item was recommended by the pod as well, and Sammy is going to be presenting as well. Go ahead, Sammy.
Yes. Thank you. So as you may know, Reclamation District 817 is the local maintaining agency responsible for the levees around the Bear River and Dry Creek, which provide protection to the Wheatland Basin. So this project constructed 2,800 linear feet of setback levee and strengthened over 7,800 feet. And so for the project, DWR provided $11 million through the Flood System Repair Program, and Yuba Water Agency has provided $1.1 million as the local cost share for that project. In addition, we also provided $1 million line of credit to assist with cash flow during the while the district was awaiting state reimbursements. And so this grant will cover cost overruns associated with the project closeout, as well as the accrued interest. And I believe Tom Engler is there if he has any comments, additional comments, or if anyone on the board has any questions, we'd be happy to take them.
Right, great. Thank you, Sammy. Any questions from the directors? And is there anyone from the public that would wish to speak on this? All right.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Great. Item 10, consider adopting resolution 2025-21, approving flood risk reduction, third amendment to the line of credit and the amount of $300,000 of Marysville Levy Commission. And this one also was recommended by Pod and is also being presented by Sammy Knoll. Go ahead, Sammy.
The last one, I promise, for today. And so for this project, it's been a while since I believe the board has been updated on the Marysville Ring Levy project. So we wanted to combine this this request with just a quick update. So I believe Tom Engler is in the audience, and he will provide the update for the project.
Okay, great. Tom, you're up. And thank you for coming and presenting.
Thank you, Chair Reddick, members of the board, Tom Engler, MBK Engineers. I'm the project manager for the Marysville Levy District on the Marysville Ring Levy project. I assumed that title in early 2007 and have been working diligently on this project ever since. So going back to 1986, we had the big 86 flood. The Yuba Water Agency was able to get the Army Corps of Engineers to do a reconnaissance study for both RD 784 and Marysville. The Corps in the late 90s approved the project. Congress authorized the project to complete repairs to most of the Feather River in RD 784. That's known as Reach 1. That's Reach 2. The Yuba River in RD 784, that was Reach 1. And then 5.5 miles around Marysville that needed repairs, that was considered Reach 3. So as you're aware, Marysville protects 2 state highways, a couple railroads, approximately 12,700 residents. And a stat that I bring up often is that Marysville had nearly 12,000 people in the year 1900 and has 12,700 now because it's confined by the ring levee. So everybody is protected by it. It also has Right Out Hospital, as you're all aware. So obviously going back, gold rush days, hydraulic mining debris, constructed the ring levee. The government eventually passed the Jackson Act in 1917, which authorized the federal project levy system, which Marysville is a part of. Locally constructed levees were approved through the 50s as part of that. The 55 flood happened and the Corps came in the late 50s and raised the levee. As you can imagine, having a ring levee around a very urbanized area is terrible for the risk to life analysis. So in Marysville, it's extremely high. Our modeling shows that routes become impassable within a couple hours. The entire city would be fully inundated within 24 hours, whereas you have these other floods where a levee breaks and it takes 3 to 5 days for the basin to fill. Marysville will be completely full within 24 hours. Most important thing about this is here in California, our floods happen when the water's cold. Water temperature is below 50 degrees. Gets you 30 to 60 minutes of consciousness and then eventually leads to worst. So this is a slide that kind of shows the construction history. The levees got originally built and continued to get raised. After the core project came in, they raised it up to the height you see there. And then after the 55 flood, they came in and raised it one more time. The interesting part about that is where most levees have 3 feet of freeboard, Marysville was constructed to have 5 to 7 feet of freeboard because of the risks to life even back that they recognized back in the 50s. So as I kind of touched on earlier, after the 97 flood, the Water Agency took several key flood risk reduction initiatives for the rest of the county. In 2000, you became the non-federal sponsor for the Yuba River Basin California General Reevaluation Report. That was to take a second look at the 1998 congressional authorization after the 97 flood to make sure that that project would indeed get the level of protection required. In 2002, the Water Agency also completed a supplemental flood control project study to evaluate improvements to provide additional risk. That study basically said we need to fix all the urban levees in the county, and then we should move on to looking at the dam and rural areas. And then you partnered with the county, Three Rivers, and the state to implement advanced repairs to RD 784, knowing that work needed to be done while the Corps was in the process of studying it. The core study progressed and it became apparent that the ring levee portion would not require significant design changes. So in 2008, we were successfully able to advocate that it be a separable element so construction could begin. In 2009, we learned that ARRA funding, ARRA funding was available for the project. So we worked with the state and Corps to do a quick turnaround on an engineering documentation report. And a 3-party project partnership was signed in 2010, and construction was initiated on phase 1 back behind the high school. So the project is currently estimated at about $166 million. The 3-party agreement is between the Army Corps of Engineers, that's USACE, CVFPB, which is the Central Valley Flood Protection Board, and the Marysville Levee District. It's funded 65% federal, 35% non-federal, and the non-federal split the non-federal costs. So us and the state split it 70-30. So the state picks up 70% of those costs. We are also responsible for associated costs with lands, easement, rights-of-way, relocation, and disposal areas, as well as we have to put up 5% cash towards the project. So the Water Agency was a local sponsor for the Yuba feasibility study, took the lead with the county and Marysville Levee District support to manage this study and provide 100% of the local share. Your efforts also secured $70 million of the available $90 million in Prop 13 Costa Machado Water Act of 2000 for Yuba feather improvements. Those were completed in RD 784. Prop 13 and future Prop 1E84 funded the majority of the $450 million of work in Three Rivers in RD 784. That then became the local share of the Marysville Ring Levee project. So the Army Corps ended up picking up all but the 5% cash on the Ring Levee project. And then just some other funding that you guys provided for the project that got us the funding for Marysville. And the Feather River setback levee reduced water surface elevations from 0.9 to 1.6 feet on the Feather, Yuba, and Jackson levees around Marysville. So that work also helped to reduce risk to the city. But as I mentioned, all the work completed with state and local funding was approved for credit towards future work. However, due to delays with GRR, the Water Agency advocated to move forward with approval of a small portion of the potentially eligible credit. Or completed a post-authorization change document, and these are all just terms that you probably will never need to know again, but they're important for these types of presentations. And then approved Amendment 1 to the Project Partnership Agreement in 2017 that allowed the $42.8 million of credit for the Reach 1 repairs to be used for Marysville. And that credit covers approximately 90% of the $12 million local share of the ring levy project. So this is a slide just showing that the federal funding, we have been very fortunate, and with the help of the water agency and our advocacy, we've been able to keep the project in the federal budget all the way up until now. We also were able to get $35.5 million in the FY19 President's budget, and then Bipartisan Budget Act of 2018, known as supplemental funding, which included $61.6 million to complete the project. Non-federal share, our 5% cash, we paid that back in 2012, $42.8 million in credit available from RD 784. State currently has plenty of funding still allocated to the project for the remaining lands, easements, and rights of way. We still have some outstanding payments to PG&E. And then funding comes from a 2009 assessment district that the Marysville Levy District passed that included $150,000 a year for improvements. The water agency is providing grants and a line of credit around $3 million to date to help cover the share. So here's the actual project that was constructed. You can see phase 1 up in the north area behind the high school. That was completed in 2012. Phase 4A, a small berm in Binney Junction, was the next phase. And we moved around to just between the 5th and 10th Street bridges. Phase 2A, we did that in 3 separate contracts. Phase 2A North did north to 5th Street. 2A South was between 5th Street and the Yuba. Phase 2C was between the railroad and Highway 70 on the Yuba. Then we went up and completed phase 3. You can see phase 3 actually shows it wrapping around the corner back onto Jack Slough. That portion of the project did not get constructed, and that'll be important later. And then the final phase, which we just completed, was between the PG&E substation and Highway 70, phase 2B. So in 2021, the Corps decided that costs would exceed the initial Bipartisan Budget Act 2018 supplemental funding, and remaining project features could not be completed without additional funding. Those included the phase 2B cutoff wall, the Highway 70 gap, which was a berm under Highway 70 in the south area, the Union Pacific Railroad gap near the wastewater treatment plant at the confluence of the Feather and Yuba, and the north area, which is that small piece of Jack Slough that did not get constructed. 2022, they assessed the effectiveness of the remaining features to understand the risks and benefits of those features, and that analysis found that the UPRR gap in north area reaches would not adequately improve the overall project performance. So they didn't say that work didn't need to be done. They just said that it wouldn't provide enough benefit to justify federal expenditures. In that same year, they went to what they call the Change Control Board in Washington, D.C. to get approval for the additional funds to construct the Phase 2B cutoff wall on Highway 70 gap projects, and directed the Sacramento District Army Corps to conduct a levee screening risk assessment. That assessment was completed in 2024 and looked at the overall project risk with no work in the UP gap, the north area, and with and without the Caltrans Binney Junction project. Here's what that analysis concluded. The north area concluded risk is not tolerable. The finger levee, which is the Highway 70 portion heading north out of town, concluded risk is not tolerable. The west area, which is the area between Phase 4 and Phase 2A that had slurry walls put in after the 97 flood, they concluded the risk was low and previous work meets design. The UPRR gap concluded risk is not tolerable, and the east area, which is the area between Phase 2B and 3 behind basically near Simpson Lane, west of Simpson Lane, concluded risk is low and no additional works required. However, the project design team completed additional analysis to determine there is no federal economic interest in completing the additional work, even though risk is not tolerable. Caltrans is currently repairing the finger levees as part of their Binney Junction project. They plan to start that here in the next month or two, and it'll take about 2.5 years to finish that work. So these are the areas that we're talking about. You can see that north area, the piece that did not get constructed along Jack Slough, basically between the Recology, Yuba-Sutter landfill heading out towards Jack Slough. Finger levee, which is Caltrans Highway 70 leaving town to the north, and the Union Pacific Railroad gap down by the wastewater treatment plant. So Army Corps originally included 300 feet of cutoff wall as part of the Phase 3 design based on marginal seepage results. GEI, under contract with the state, completed an analysis in December 2020 that concluded the cutoff wall is indeed needed. Evaluation also included a sensitivity analysis that indicated additional exploration should be completed. 2024, the Corps semi-qualitative risk assessment concluded risk is not tolerable, but that subsequent analysis determined there's no economic benefit. And then these, under contract to the city, HDR, concluded that the levee could not be certified to the current state urban levee design criteria without at least additional geotechnical explorations. There's too many unknowns. So this is a quick slide on the finger levees. So what's going on there is that the Caltrans project has to lower the road to get under the new railroad bridges. That lowering of the road induces additional seepage. So while the Corps planned to install 6 relief wells along Highway 70, Caltrans is making the problem worse. So their project now includes slurry walls in both those levees to protect us from seepage. Union Pacific Railroad gap. This is the gap between the two cutoff walls. You can't dig a cutoff wall through a railroad. The railroad won't let us do that, obviously. So we have been analyzing what happens with that gap. What we've determined is that the city wastewater treatment ponds create an increased seepage gradient that does not meet criteria. Corps design contemplated either a berm or jet grout cutoff wall, but eventually determined not to meet economic justification standards. In 2025, HDR, under contract to the city for the certification, concluded the levee could not be certified. Their proposal would be to fill the city ponds since they're no longer being used. They exist as overflow ponds, so we plan to work with the city to address that. So next steps, the city contracted effort to perform a gap analysis for certification. That report was completed June 2025. That's a report that paid HDR to do this analysis. As we've mentioned, that report concludes the project can be certified to FEMA, so we're starting the FEMA certification process, but additional evaluation and potential works needed to meet state criteria. City's in the process of working to complete the FEMA certification. It will require internal drainage analysis, so it's about a $450,000 effort. The city's evaluating that scope right now. And then they will need to complete the urban levee design criteria certification. That'll be about another $500,000. They have a scope to do that. We just need to complete the additional analysis and potential construction before that certification can be completed. Caltrans must complete the finger levee cutoff walls, which should be done by end of 27. And then we'll have to develop the report and do an independent expert review. So it'll take till about 2030 to get that completed. So with that, I will open it up for questions. I covered a lot there, so please have me back up and ask away.
All right, any questions of the directors?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. Through the chair. First of all, thank you for the work you've put in. And what year did you say you started? 2006?
2007.
2007.
2007.
Okay. Well, thank you for your life's work. Marysville definitely appreciates all the efforts that the county put forward as a whole to get them to this point. So the continued work and investigating every avenue, trying to make these final repairs come to fruition is greatly appreciated. So, but I also wanted to thank Sammy for her time on this as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just had some questions for clarification. What does FEMA certification do for us? What does ULDC certification do for us? What are those effects?
Yes, so without FEMA certification, so the city of Marysville back in 2008 when the southern portion of Yuba and Sutter counties got remapped to FEMA, the city of Marysville was granted what's called a provisionally accredited levy. It was supposed to be good for 2 years, which it was, but because the Army Corps was starting a project, FEMA's basically said, we're just going to stand back and not do anything to see how the core project progresses. FEMA came back just a few months ago and said, we've waited long enough. What's going on? Is the project able to be certified? If not, we're going to start the remapping process to map the city of Marysville into a high-risk flood area. So with that, it would become mandatory insurance for any federally backed mortgage. Insurance rates are currently about $3,200 a year per house. So it would be a big economic impact to the residents of the city. The state urban levy design criteria, there was a law passed in 2007 after Hurricane Katrina and the 2006 flood. The state passed a series of flood legislation, including SB 5. That bill says that a city or county land use agency cannot provide any discretionary permits in an area that protects more than 10,000 residents without making a finding that they have 200-year protection. At the time, they said you either need to make that finding or have a plan in place to get 200-year level of protection by the end of 2025, but everything has to be complete by the end of 2020. Fortunately, Marysville was included in some recent legislation that extends that deadline from 2025 to either 2030 or 2040. I can't remember which it was. So we bought ourselves a little bit of time, but we have to get that. Otherwise, the city could not issue a building permit. They could not issue a tentative map. They could not subdivide any parcels. No discretionary actions that create any additional risk in the city. So if somebody's house burned down, they could not issue a permit to rebuild.
Great explanation. Thank you. And then the two gaps that we're responsible for, because the finger levy is going to be Caltrans, the one on the north, one on the south. The water gets high. Obviously, most of the walls are up. But when you say a gap, like water is going to be pouring through that gap into it? Like, what do we mean there?
No. So we've placed slurry walls or seepage protection around most of the entire city now. These are gaps in that protection. So it's a gap in protection, not a gap in the levee.
Okay.
So it just means that the levee has not been improved to current standards.
So there is protection there. We don't have any reason to foresee a practical problem. It would merely be for the certification purposes, which you explained.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item? Any other comments?
Comment, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tom, human nature is to have short memories, I think, and in those decades between floods, it's important that we keep working, and it would be easy, the wheels of government and funding and all that can turn really slowly, and if you don't keep your nose to the grindstone, we could get behind on these projects, and so it's great to see that history and see that work has just continued, and that will save lives one day. And so we owe you a thank you, and everybody else who's worked on this, Sammy and other staff at the water agency in Marysville. And it's incredible how complicated 5 or 6 miles of levee could be. There's so many things you're dealing with there. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that we appreciate the work.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I move that we approve the amendment to the line of credit for a time extension until December 31st, 2027, an increase in the amount of $300,000 for a total line of credit of $2.8 million.
Second motion.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
One moment. Sammy Nall would like to speak.
Okay.
I thanks everyone. You jumped ahead of me, but that's great. I just wanted to clarify that this amendment for the line of credit really is to do some exploratory drilling and to determine if further work is needed in that gap, North Gap area. So I didn't know if you guys had any questions specifically to the funding, but I appreciate, Tom. Thank you so much for providing that update. It's been super helpful.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11, consider adopting resolution 2025-22, approving water supply and water management grant in the amount of $4,006,777 and cash loan in the amount of $2 million for Cordo Irrigation District main canal flow control upgrades and instrumentation project. This item was recommended for approval by POD, and we have Kyle Margato presenting. Go ahead, Kyle. Thank you.
Chairman Messick, Board, thank you for today. I just wanted to mention the appreciation for all the water supply agencies that we've been working with for all the work that we've been getting done and supporting all of this infrastructure upgrades and the capital improvements throughout the county. It's been pretty amazing. We've now grounded, I think, to 13 of the 14 or 15 agencies in the county, and to improve these things, we're improving, infrastructure that's could be over 100 years old, and hopefully we're getting these things pushed forward for another 100 years with these projects. These are long-term fixes, and just everybody's very appreciative that we're working through. So this first one here with the Cordua irrigation, this is up to a 3-year project. It's to fix or replace or or rehab 12 different sites for flow control. To create better efficiency in water use, and like I said, to sustain Cordua into the future. This does support $3.2 million in grants from Bureau of Reclamation, and also Cordua filled that gap for a 50-50 cost share with another $72,000. So today, consider adopting Resolution 2022 approving water supply and water management grant, amount of $4 million, is what we're asking today.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions from the directors? Charlie?
I would like to note that on the project, it said that there's going to be a water savings of 5,010 acre feet. And that seems like a lot of water. Also, I'd like to make the comment. First off, I want to support the motion and the loan, but I want the agency and Cordua to realize that when you get a lot of automation, you also get a lot of maintenance and using our harvesters in advance. We used to have a harvester when a wheel stopped turning, you fix the reel. Well, now we have things on it that you have a sensor. Well, if the sensor senses the wheel might not turn, it won't start. So we wind up having a tremendous amount of maintenance of people coming out to fix the bugs in these more complicated procedures. And what the money is for is to automate putting boards in a weir as the water goes down through the system. And as an example, one of the weirs is at the fish screen. Well, the amount of money you're going to put to make the automatic weir at the fish screen against the time it takes to put a board in if you make more or less water, it's never been an issue. But the idea of automation comes with the idea that you're going to have a lot of maintenance in the future. And I just wanted to make sure that the agency in Cordua understood that spending some Cordua money and a lot of our money and the government's money, that you might have higher expenses in the future than you realize.
Thank you. Any other comments from the directors? Anyone from the?
I have a comment, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of excited to see where this project goes. I think it said it's going to take 3 years to get it done, but I'd like to see the other member units pay attention and see what could be done. And I'm sure you're on top of that, Kyle. As we make improvements, there's a lot of talk about working on the south system and look for the example that Cordua is setting here and what could be done.
Is that a motion?
Well, we have public comment first. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? None? Okay. Entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you. Thank you. Don't go anywhere, Kyle. Item 12, consider adopting resolution 2025-23. Yep. Can you come up to the microphone so we can have it on the record?
I'm Becky Hunt. board member, Cordova Irrigation District, and I just want to thank you for your support. This is a big project, a big endeavor for us. We're a small district, and we just appreciate the support. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate it. Okay, item 12, consider adopting resolution 2025-23, approving water supply and water management grant in the amount of $623,205.30 for the Camptonville Community Service District, Camptonville Gulch Diversion Reconstruction Project. This item was recommended for approval by POD, and we will have Kyle Margato presenting. Go ahead, Kyle.
So the Campbell Gulch diversion is the main diversion for Camptonville. It's another very old diversion. It's for the complete reconstruction of it. It was fully grant funded, but it took over 3 years for them to get the permitting completed with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, or Fish and Wildlife. So since then, construction has gotten a little bit more expensive, so we're helping them fill that construction cost. We're covering the design and then 43% of the construction. Their grant of $525,000 will cover the rest. And this will completely rebuild the headworks in the creek. And this is all gravity flow. So this is the cheapest way to get Camptonville water. They try not to use the pumps there because it's very expensive. So that's what this grant is for, is to be able to complete that, and it's going to happen in the next couple months.
Great. Any questions from the directors? Comments? I'd just like to make a comment that Camptonville just has it going on. I mean, it just impressed me. Always forward thinking and getting these things done. So with that, is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this? Yeah, come on up.
My name is Richard Descartes, and I've been here several times to thank you for your support. It's ongoing over the last decade. I'm a member of the Camptonville Community Service District and the main liaison to our water system. And not only would I like to thank you for your support of our water system, but also the volunteer fire department. You guys have really made us safer, and we've got water. Your support also has included providing services from Katie Burdick and Paul Rose, and they've been invaluable in helping us thread through all of the paperwork. Again, thank you, greatly appreciated, and
thank you, Richard. Thanks for making the trip down today. Yeah. All right. With that, I'll is there anyone else from the public?
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. Oh, wait, don't go anywhere. Just turn the page. You're still up. Item 13, consider adopting resolution 2025-24, approving water supply and water management grant in the amount of $41,175.50 for the North Yuba Water District Programmable Logic Controller Replacement Project. This item was recommended approval from the POD committee. And Kyle.
So this is for the water treatment plan for a plant for North Yuba. Right now, it's kind of the old style auto hand system that was originally installed. Well, this will allow them to update to new programmable logical controllers for them to be able to backwash and program in what they need to do at the treatment plant and kind of bring it to the future. One of the issues with the older stuff, it's still great and it works great, but you can't get parts to fix it a lot of times anymore. And it's a big search, and the older it gets, the harder it is to upkeep and maintain. So this will bring them current with their water treatment plant.
Great, thank you. Any questions of the directors? Comments? I'll make a comment. If you guys have never been up there, it's worth the trip. You ought to get a hold of North Yuba Water and get a tour. It's a really amazing facility they have up there. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this?
Just on that point, and I guess no, you go up, America, sorry. It is Jewel, I think, to have a water system like North Yuba does.
Yeah.
In the foothills like that, it's truly amazing, especially with the tanks and who they serve up there. It really is.
Yeah. Marika?
Hello, public comment. Marika Fernay, Vice President of North Yuba. I'm representing North Yuba today since Leona, our general manager, couldn't come. And our representation is thank you. Thank you for the continuing support of the Yuba Water Agency. Thank you for Kyle. Thank you for Katie putting all these projects on the map and having a way to deliver efficiently clean drinking water up to standard is worth all the trouble. Thank you.
Marika, maybe one time we could have on our meeting for you guys to update us on all the projects and how much water you've saved. You know, it'd be good for the board to see what you guys have done with all the grants over the last couple of years.
It'll be our pleasure.
Okay.
Let's. I'll get that on the map between Leona and Katie.
Okay.
I'll be off the hook.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down.
To that point, Leona and Katie and we have been working on getting a presentation put together for a lot of the projects that we've completed up there. We hope to bring that to the board soon.
Yeah, great. That'd be great. Thank you. Right. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. Item 14, consider adopting resolution 2025-25, approving water supply and water management grant in the amount of $100,000 from North Yuba Water District's Fort Town Ditch Planning Project. This item was recommended for approval by the POD committee and Kyle.
So this is for phase one. The cost share on this is a planning grant for phase one to do the survey for the upper Forbes-Town ditch. That's between the pinstock that feeds South Feather's power system and runs all the way to North Yuba's treatment plant. The reason we typically cover these things 100%, but North Yuba wanted to use a specific contractor, and they thought to do their due diligence, they wanted to help cover some of that cost. So that's why it's a $100,000 request today on a $171,000 bid to have that item mapped. And hopefully in the future, we'll be able to get more water down to the treatment plant and then passed for delivery to the ag.
All right. Any questions from the directors?
No.
Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item?
So moved.
We have one public comment.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Back again. Thank you again.
Yeah.
This project is very dear to my heart because being able to expand the Forbes-Town ditch in a responsible manner not only fulfills the plans that were made in 1920 to expand the Forbes-Town ditch, but those were old plans that were never put into fruition. The plans that were made in the 1950s included a promise to the residents of North Yuba County that water, that ag water would be more available after 2010. It took us a little while to get there, but here we are. We're rolling thanks to the Yuba Water Agency and Kyle. This project is coming on the map, and the north of Yuba County is becoming safer and more productive thanks to your efforts. Awesome.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I'd like to make a comment that North Yuba Water District management has made a significant change in their original direction years ago. We appreciate your effort.
Yeah, and that's why I requested a presentation, because they really have just been doing so much. Yeah. And even before my time, or after I was elected, but before I took office, we tried to get this done, and it wouldn't happen. And with the new board, it's just been night and day up there. So That's just great to see this go.
I'd so move.
We have a motion. Anybody second? And seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. Okay. Item 15, consider approval of the legal services agreement with Hanson Bridget LP for special counsel legal services for public work construction. Andrew.
Good morning, Chair Messick and directors. Sorry for the hoarse throat today. Pleased to be presenting to you a proposed agreement for legal services with Hanson Bridget LP for special counsel services for public works construction. So one of the first items I took on when I started as your general counsel about a year ago was making sure that we had the full legal team that we needed. And I identified a need for additional help with construction services for two reasons. First, your primary outside construction counsel prior to coming to you was me. So with the additional scope of general counsel services, we have some need for some additional team members on the construction side. As you also know, we have a lot of construction projects either going on right now, like the tunnel outage project, or in the future, like the NLF, the proposed ARC spillway, and other items on our CIP list. So this is the right time to bring on some additional expertise in construction matters to make sure that we have the support we need. In April 2025, we started a competitive process. We released an RFQ to 9 law firms that specialize in these types of services. We got 3 responses that met our requirements. I convened a team with representatives from legal, power systems, resource planning, and finance. We interviewed the 3 proposed teams. We checked their references, and we reviewed in depth their qualifications. The team decided unanimously that our recommendation was to go with Hanson Bridget. Hanson Bridget and their construction team are ranked in the top tier for construction in California through the Chamber's ranking. They have decades of experience. Their team consists of Joe Moore, who was both a lawyer and an engineer and has 20 years of industry experience, as well as Allison Schutte, who is an infrastructure and public agency specialist. She's also the general counsel for BOSCA, the Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation Agency, as well as David Gehrig, who is an alternative procurement specialist out of their Walnut Creek office. Whole team was very impressed with the Hanson Bridget team. We thought they would make an excellent addition to our team and look forward to working with them in the future. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but otherwise recommend approval of an agreement and direction to the general manager to execute the legal services agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions from the directors? Is there any public comment on this item? Ryan?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Managers report.
All right, well, we're doing well. We're getting to the end of irrigation season. New Bullard's Bar is at 1,887 feet with a storage of 671,000 acre feet with our end of September carryover target of 650. We're right on target to meet that. We're kind of seeing the demand go down now that we're at the tail end of irrigation season, and I'm sure farmers on the board are getting ready to go harvest the rice and other products. But everything went well this irrigation season, and it seems like we're on target to meet our end of year carryover. As far as operations up at the facilities, I'll just say it this way. In 2 weeks, we're shutting down the tunnel for a 4.5-month tunnel outage that we've been talking about in length the last several months. Almost everything up there is focused on preparation for that tunnel outage. Since we've constructed the new facility, I've been spending about, on average, a day a week up there, and the conversations that have been had are circling around the tunnel and in preparation for that. So I think we're well prepared. But later today, we have a go, no-go meeting to ensure that all of the pre-planning efforts and all the milestones needed to give the team the green light to shut down the tunnel and do the maintenance and infrastructure work is all in place. So I just want to let you know that that's all going well, and in a few weeks it's going to be very busy up there. All the units are online and generating as normal. We've had a nice little cool several days in our region. Looks like it's going to be hot today and tomorrow, and kind of seasonal temperatures after that. On the communications side, the South County Infrastructure Project and our approval to loan the partners up to $80 million was picked up by Yuba-Net and the appealed Democrat. And Caitlin Chow represented the agency along with our partners from Scripps Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes, presenting about winter forecasting and reservoir operations to an audience of forecasters and water managers from California and Colorado during the 2025 Airborne Snow Observatory Annual Workshop. Our upcoming sponsorships include the Yuba River Cleanup, which we are participating in on Friday with a cleanup effort down at the Shad Pad. Casa de Esperanza's Casa de County fundraiser, benefiting survivors and families impacted by domestic violence on the 19th. The Food and Water Festival in the Foothills on the 20th. We will be hosting a tour of the Power Systems facility for attendees of that event. The Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau's Farm Day on the 26th. The Yuba-Sutter Farm to Fork Dinner on the 27th. The Marysville Kiwanis fundraiser Hogs and Hulas on the 27th, and the Hard Rock Casino's Pinktober Gala on the October 1st, and the Pink October 5K race on the 4th. And now I see why you guys said everything is on the 27th, the same day as the Pumpkin Way Off. On our human resources side, we have 2 new open recruitments, a help desk technician and a hydrologist. And we have offer letters out for information security analyst and procurement and contracts manager. Oh, the offer letters are out, and those folks are actually starting. So those folks are starting. The information security analyst is starting on the 15th. That's yesterday. And the procurement and contracts manager is starting on the 29th. And Terry Peterson of our staff was promoted to procurement specialist. And that's all that I have. Our next upcoming meetings are October 7th. We have a regular board meeting and an ABP meeting. And related to that, Director Matthews reminded me this morning that we haven't had a power generation revenue update for a few board meetings, and he's wondering where those are. Our Finance Director has been out on an extended leave of absence. I will make sure that we get you all up to date on all our power generation revenues at that October 7th meeting.
Thank you, Willie. Director's comments. Start down here with Andy.
Project, and now there's old farmer saying is never remove the fence before you figure out why they put it there in the first place. And what they've created up there is with the wetlands, they have a north and a south, and the north goes to one tribe and the south goes to another tribe. Well, the south has absolutely no water. You know, they got all the land but no water, but the upper portion is very, very wet. And the city itself, Klamath, is concerned about the feds cutting back on future water use for them. But it was interesting to see a dam coming down. And one of the things I was interested in was what do you do with the sediment behind the dams? And that's one thing that we have more than any other place, because we have the tailings, the mine debris. And that's going to bankrupt us if we have to move that stuff. So just remember that when you want to take a dam down. Thanks. That's it.
Rennick.
Well, this weekend I had the chance to go out to the Stampede, and I saw that Yuba Water was a sponsor there, so that was pretty great. It's always good to get our people out and get them together. We had a pretty rough week last week as a nation, so to have something like an American flag getting flown in on a parachuter for everybody to come together and enjoy it was pretty good and peaceful. So, but just wanted to say thank you for everybody who got the word out about the Farm to Fork dinner. It sounds like it's sold out, so if you got invited, I'd say show up, because those tickets are gone. So Yeah, just a lot of great things coming on the 27th. There's also a dinner that's getting promoted out at the VFW Hall in Olivehurst. It's to honor our local firefighters. So a lot of our local agencies will be getting awards there. So I think it's $25 a ticket for adults. Kids 10 and under are free. Firefighters are free. And it's really just a night to raise funds for our local fire departments and celebrate those first responders. So yeah, that's my update.
Thank you. Seth? Nothing?
Nothing.
Right? Nothing? Charlie?
I would like to comment that the positive for the agency, that one of the major problems or goals we have is to get a license from the FERC license. And I want to be able to compliment both our manager and the staff for continually working on little things that help us get in that area. And one was the manager talking about different, invitations to be on panels with the state regulators that affect us, so that he has a more personal relationship with the people that are going to make the final decisions. And I just don't think that we should ever think that our agency isn't the best in the whole state because we have this type of people. Thank you.
Gary?
So first, I want to thank the grantees that were on the agenda today for taking the time to be at the meeting today and be available to answer any questions and show their appreciation. So I know we're always glad when they're here to do that. Also, 2 weeks ago, NACWA hosted a dinner with Carla Namath, the DWR director, for the executive committee, and I was able to attend that. It was a great opportunity to convey our appreciation to a lot of the things that DWR is working on that we're partnered with them on, and also remind her of some of the things that we still need from DWR and we want to work on. And then last Friday, we hosted the American Leadership Forum monthly meeting up at the Power Systems headquarters, and had huge praise from the folks in that group as far as the facility and the area around Oregon House. Even though some people drove about 2 hours to get to that meeting, they were very grateful for us hosting, and thought it was an amazing facility. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Mandy and Kayla, because they really helped that whole day go off without a hitch and put a lot of work into it. So that's it.
Great. I have a few items. It's great to live in a community where we have so much going on and everybody's volunteering. Speaking of the 27th, everything's going on. There'll also be a car show that day at the Loma Rica Lions Club, and then Hogs and Hula. So what I kind of do, just so everybody knows, is prioritize things in my district before anything else. So if I don't make it to the Great Pumpkin Way Off again, Wayne, it's if I do, it'll only be for about 10 minutes. It's because there's so much going on. Same with the dinner in Marysville. I think it's an important thing to that the Marysville's put that on. It's just unfortunate everything's on that same day. So car show in Loma Rica in the morning, Hogs and Hulas that evening at Sycamore Ranch, which is a great event. And let's see what else I have here. Gary and I will be at RCRC the rest of the week representing the county. Looking forward to that. In fact, we're leaving this afternoon. And the Food and Water Festival coming up on the 20th. I'd really like to thank whoever decided to open our new Power Systems headquarters for kind of a show and tell to people going to the Food and Water Festival. I think that's going to be a great thing, and hopefully you guys can all make it this Saturday to the Food and Water Festival. And I didn't make it to the rodeo, Rennick, because I was worn out from Sodbusters on Friday night, which we sponsored. That was a great event. And I'm back-to-back bull riding champion at Sodbusters 2 years in a row. Everybody didn't know that. So with that, we're going to go to, what's that? Yeah. Okay, item 16. We're going to have to adopt a motion to adjourn this meeting and continue it to 10:20 today at the F Street location of the Water Agency, pursuant to Government Code 54955. Is there any public comment on that item? And that'll be a closed session meeting over there.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I forgot one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to adjourn the meeting in memory of Charlie Kurtz.
Okay, that's a great thing. We're gonna.
All 7 of us, please sign.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. The actual adjournment will be after closed session, so we'll do it that, but it's on public record here that we're going to do that. Is there any public comment on this item, 16? No? Any director's comments?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, great. So we are going to recess.
Recording stopped.
Yes. Okay. Stop. Good. Done.
Yuba-Sutter.Live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
Yuba-Sutter done alive. It's the truth that comes through.